Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen. Confirm if you can see my screen, please.
We can see your screen.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so just a minute. Yeah, good. I want to make it slideshow. Are you seeing the first slide? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So this is the first slide. Yes, beautiful. All right, so today we'll learn how to pass, and we're actually going to pass this course. We're passing it in just one sitting. So the first thing, like we did yesterday, we'll just dive into it. No story. Get into the business of the day. We'll be looking at all of these things. Oh, sorry, there was a bit typo there. So the first thing we'll be looking at is what is being tested in FR. So we're going to be learning what is being tested, the examiner's point of view, what we should be noting, our examination position, and of course, we're going to be looking at the past question analysis and then understand what the SEPTA bridge is about. Okay, so yes, for financial reporting, what is exactly being tested? Because it's important we understand what is being tested. Number one thing you need to know that for this course, what is core is for you to be able to prepare and present, financial statement. So that part is, is the focus, is one of the major focus of financial reporting exam. Your ability to prepare, the statement of financial position, the statement of profit or loss, and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flow. You should be able to prepare that. All right. So in addition to the preparation, you should also be able to undo, some sort of group structures, right, in terms of how to handle issues around goodwill, non-controlling interest, consolidated return earnings. All right. So and also be able to know what to do whenever there are notes, because we notice that this question, if at all you're going to be getting a question on presentation and preparation of financial report, is most likely going to be a compulsory question based on what we've been seeing in the past. And if it's going to be a compulsory question, it means that you can't do without it. So you want to be able to understand how to make relevance, workings, regarding, whatever question you're being given. All right. So the next thing is, okay. So the next thing is you also want to understand the practical application of accounting standards. Yes, you should understand the practical application of accounting standards, and this is very important. The standards are will have quite a lot of standard for your level. So there's an expectation that you should be able to understand, these standards and how to apply them. So beyond the application, also the concept, around the standard, also knowing what the standard mean, knowing their definition, and all of that. So these are things that is expected, of you. All right. So in addition to that, you should also be able to make adjustments, right? So if you get a question, you should be able to make adjustments. For instance, IS 16, property plant and equipment, IS 36, IS 40. Now, you notice I put these three standards here because these are your asset standards, and these standards are very pivotal. Like, you will not say you've learned any standard in FR, right? Not just FR, even in SBR, if you haven't learned these standards, right? So you have to be able to have a very good understanding of these three asset standards, minimum you should. And of course, financial instruments, which is something that we get to see now. So let's be conversant with that. Lease, maybe not as serious as it will be for the SBR people, and also, of course, how to handle, revenue recognition. So these are some of the things. And another one is analysis and interpretation of financial statement. Yes, and we know this is always compulsory. You get to see it almost every time. Ability to compute ratios. All right. So that means you need to know your ratios. You need to know the formulas of all your ratios. or basically, if you look at ratios, always look at it from this division, the profitability, liquidity, efficiency and investment ratio. So you should know at least the ratios are embedded in these classes of ratio. You should know the formulas. And now, beyond knowing the formula, you should also be able to provide like a meaningful, assessment. And so this is what we call interpretation of the ratio, right? So you've calculated the ratio, right? Can you talk about your calculation? Can you analyze it? Can you tell us what this ratio means? So what it means is that whilst you're learning the ratio formulas, you also need to understand why, what it means. For instance, if you say gross profit margin, which is gross profit over sales, what does that mean, right? Because if you don't know what it means, you might not be able to interpret the ratio. You might not be able to provide an assessment of a company that you're being given. All right. So it's not just about, gross profit increased over last year. That's not just what you want to do. If you're asked to provide a meaningful assessment, you want to talk about not just the fact that it increased, you want to talk about the implication of that increase, right? So it could be, the increase could be because the organization introduced new products and then thereby drove revenue and then increased the organization ability to make more profit, and that's kind of also helped them to make, or the organization changed something about their business that then changed the dynamics of the profit, or the cost reduced, all right, which then increases the income the profit that came in. So you need to understand what those ratios mean, right? So it's not just learning the formulas. And also you should be able to identify qualitative factors and areas requiring further investigation beyond the numbers that are provided, right? So these are like all of this is like the depth they can go at your level. We're just going to the extreme, right? So what does that mean? It means that, okay, if something happens, last year it was 20%, this year it's 15%. As an accountant, right, you should be able to speak, okay, why is there a drop, right? So what are these things that maybe the question might have indicated that could have resulted, to those drops. All right. So the next thing is your ability to communicate professionally. And for those in yesterday's class, remember we talked about presentation and communication. And in FR2, it is expected. All right. So professional communication and technical reporting. Can you draft a formal report? Right. So you notice this in ratio analysis, right? A lot of times people would stop at just computing the ratios and then below the ratio competition, they just say, oh, there's an increase, there's a decrease, right? Listen, read the question properly, right? So if the question had indicated that and I'm speaking for both, we're still going to SBR, but I'm speaking for both because it also happened in SBR. If the question had asked you to present your report, you cannot just write the meaning and you can't just assess the ratio as a workings under the computation. You can't just throw it blank. What I mean is, it has to come in a structure. You can't just write, oh, increase, a decrease. What does that mean? It doesn't make any sense. You need to write a report. And I told you yesterday, report, what does that entail? The title, the dates, the title of the report, introduction, the content of your report, your conclusion, your recommendations, whatever it is, you have to write those things and those structure must be clearly indicated, right? So you also need to know what you're being asked for. If it's a report, know what a report looks like. If it's a letter, then let it come in a letter. Of course, if it comes in a letter, you then go to see which letter written to and all of those things. So make sure you understand professional communication and technical reporting. Now, the next one is ethical reasoning and professionalism, right? So now ICAN is now very interested, even at your level. They want to see how you're able to identify possible ethical issues in, financial reports, all right? Because if you're talking about financial reporting, we're also talking about, ethics. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
ma'am.
can hear you.
I can hear you
Oh,
clearly.
okay. Okay, very
hear
clear.
you.
Okay. And you can still see my screen.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can see your screen.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought something went off. All right. So ethical reasoning and professionalism, how do you apply those ethical issues? So you've learned probably the codes of ethics. So if the question then wants you to talk a bit about the application in these financial reports, right, then you have to, but because it's financial reporting, this is not audit, so it's not going to be too it's going to be more focused on maybe on IFRSs, right? So maybe revenue recognition, for instance, there are rules to recognition, and then there might be a case where somebody, a manager or somebody, an accountant, has not followed the rules and went ahead to recognize the revenue, right? So in financial reporting, the way you attack that issue is not the same as if it was an audit, because in financial reporting, you are attacking the fact that they have not followed IFRS rules. So they've kind of breached that process, by not allowing them, not following all the rules to revenue recognition, for instance, right? So that's how you're going to apply, ethics in financial reporting. So you're not applying it like from an auditor's point of view, you're applying it, advising, speaking in the sense of what the standard says and what this organization has probably done, which might not be in line with the standard. All right. So now at your level, and I think this is more particular to FR, right? Conceptual and regulatory framework knowledge. It's key at your level. At the professional level, they may not really be asking about these things, but at FR level, they want to understand, they want to, that's why sometimes you see some questions that might even mean that they want you to define certain things, right? They want you to state what a standard says, just verbatim, not necessarily applying it. They just want you to talk to us. Okay, what are the 5 rules for revenue recognition? Something that is not related to like a case study. It's just like claim, just give us the answer. That's it. Yes, at FR, expect those kind of questions. So when you're learning those standards, don't just learn the computational part of the standard. Understand the spirit behind the standard, but understanding the definition of the different elements of the standard, what they mean, and what are those guidelines in the standard. So you understand them. All right. So, and also, of course, the regulatory framework, very important. Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, right? What are their rules, objectives? These are just examples. But in your chapter 1, you get to see this thing a lot. So pay attention. I know it might be boring because it's not calculation, right? But pay attention because at your level it is important. And then we now have contemporary issues, and we begin to see that yes, ICAN is not joking now. They are really bringing contemporary issues and the questions, so, and this will span around, sustainability reporting. Remember, this is financial reporting, right? And under IFRS, we have S1 and S2, and these are the standards that guide sustainability reporting. Our organization should report these things in the same financial report. So you see why it is very related, right? It's well seated in financial reporting when it comes to sustainability reporting. So you can't say this is not calculation. No, this is a financial reporting issue, because when the organization presents their financial statement, they also present some other reports alongside their annual report. So that's why sustainability reporting is key. Technology application, you can know, right? And this one goes beyond your pack, right? So when it comes to contemporary issues and emerging technologies, please, after you've read your pack, go online. What is the what we're talking about when it comes to technology and accounting and finance? You need to know, because your pack was probably written a long time, and the times we're in are different, so you need to go beyond your pack, right? The next one, now we're going to be looking at the examiner, right? What are the examiners saying? Because this is where the trick is. When you understand what the examiner is saying, it tells you the mind of the examiner and tells you what you should position yourself for, like how you should present your answer, because there's a possibility that you understand what the course is about and you've read and you can actually answer those questions. But the question is, have you positioned your answer to suit the examiner's expectation? Because the examiner is judging you by what you are presented, if it aligns with a marking scheme. So examiners have marking scheme, right? Now, a marking scheme is like a document that provides how they should go ahead to score. Because if they don't follow marking scheme in a way that they should follow, they might be sued themselves. So you see why it's important to them. They might be sued because if maybe students are writing and complaining about a particular result, right? And imagine a lot of complaint came, maybe like 1,000, no, maybe not 1,000, maybe like 7, maybe 200 students had written, and then they realized that, oh, those reports came from a particular the way where they particularly answered, they particularly marked, the question, and they were like, from the same area where these questions were marked. So they might want to probe that and begin to check, okay, did the examiner do something wrong? So that's why examiners are always guided by the marking scheme. So whenever you see examiners' mindset is important. Number one is they are saying that students are not able to present financial statement in a IFRS prescribed format. And what is IFRS prescribed format? IS1 now has now been overtaken by IFRS 18, for instance, right? So if even though present early adoption is is expected, or is there's a word we use, is encouraged, yes. But however, you need to understand how should, not just what they taught in your secondary school, I'm sorry, your university, because we don't know, what if your lecturer never followed IFRS standard, right? So you have to know how to present, according to the standard, right? So how do now if you look at IFRS 18, it's clear everything. Categories, what should never be. Clear categories, what should be aggregated, what should never be aggregated. Now, these are rules now. But the fact that you see financial statement, you don't just think that's what they do. There's something around why they do what they do, right? So if you notice, IFRS 18 is already giving us indication of cash flow. Like your financial statement has to be presented, showing us clearly the operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So if you're going to be aligning with that standard, it has to make sense, it has to align. All right. So they're also complaining that little things, are spoiling people's vine. And what are those things? Not putting naira in the right places, not putting million whenever they're abbreviating, not putting thousands whenever you're reducing the figures you're summarizing or you're approximating. You should show those things. And this thing gets them angry, even though you might think it's just half mark, or it gets them angry because it then shows that maybe this student is not well put together. All right. So they're also talking about ability notes, the student not providing relevant notes to the financial statement. I'm sure you were wondering, relevant note, what does that mean? Now, if the question they ask us to provide relevant notes, why are they asking us to provide, or why are they expecting us to do that? Now, what they are actually asking is you want to see your workings, right? So that's why I tell you, don't go walk at the back of your booklet, and then you begin to work in pencil. Don't do that. Those things you want to dump there, they're actually marks. They're marks you're losing. Because for everything, every line item in the financial statement, you must have done some workings, right? Before you can come up with a figure and say this is PPE. How did you get that number? You must have done some calculations somewhere. And don't just do those calculations on your calculator. Your examiner will not, they don't know what's in your calculator. They are not going to know. So you should show them. And it's not about wasting time to begin to present it, in a way that will waste your time. To just make sure your workings are embedded, as part of your answer. So don't go and work somewhere and then you're hoping that when you have time, you come back and then show it properly and it looks so good. No, that's not it. Whilst you're preparing the financial statement, by the next page, just make sure you leave maybe if the question requires to prepare the statement of profit and loss, leave like one page, right? What you think will be enough if your handwriting is big, right? Just look at the question. How long is even the question? You can tell, okay, maybe I 2 pages. Leave that. That's where you're. After that, you start your workings. Now, don't go work in a way in a place nobody can figure it out. Work in as part of that answer. You get what I'm saying? So then you call it workings or call it notes to account to make it now more. You want to be more, more. You want to be more intelligent, right? You want to show like I'm not just doing workings here, I'm doing notes in the financial statement, because even in the proper financial statement, there are always notes. Call it notes. Do your workings one by one, right? Once you're done, label it one. Just put one in front of it, 2, 3, 4, 5. If some of your workings that led to the financial statement, came from there, just put beside the notes 1, note 2, just so that they can pick it. In fact, when examiners see that, they know this person is ready, right? Because it doesn't necessarily mean you get everything, but the fact that they see that they're already like goodwill is already towards you already, like, well, yes, this person is going to be a very good accountant, that kind of, so it's already there. So be careful with your formats, right? Okay, another one is the standard. So the examiners are saying that some of these standards are being confused by the students. Students are not able to differentiate what adjusting non-adjusting events, are. So these are very important. What are those things that can be adjusted, right? What are those things that happen, after the financial, report? So you need to know what those things are. IAS 8, ability to distinguish policies, estimate, and an error, changes in accounting estimate, conditions. So these are some of the things they talked about. But what I want you to pay attention to is look at those standards now. If you notice, IS 10 might be a standard you will likely ignore. IS 8 maybe. IS 23, okay, maybe, because that one talks about borrowing costs, right? You might likely ignore them. IS 12 might look complicated to some people, and then they'll be like, it's too much. IFRS 5, that's another one that you might just want to, ignore. But IFRS 15, I know you like no less likely ignore that. That one looks like an IFRS that you cannot just ignore. And of course, your asset standard. But look at these other ones they mentioned, right? It shows that they are particular about your understanding all the standards that they had mentioned in the pack. They want you to know all of the standards, right? So the other ones include there are issues when it comes to IS 16, 36, and 40, right? So we know these are asset standards, right? But we also know that sometimes students can't different from what investment property, are. So they want to be sure that and of course, when organizations are also flipping from one something that students, look at in a different form. But let me say to you that consolidation is not even difficult at all, right? Why you shouldn't ignore it, right? Fine, it's not every time you get a question, maybe not every time, right? But most likely you will get it. But when you move to SBR, we are still going to do consolidation. So please, consolidation is key. You should be, and at this level, it's minimum. There's not too much adjustment here. They don't put a lot of notes. Basically, what they want you to do, ability to compute your goodwill, non-controlling interest, your equity, and all those things, right? And begin to move those things back into the consolidated financial statement. It's not too, not too difficult. So please pay attention to it, right? And most times when it comes out, it's always a compulsory question, right? So that's why you can't ignore it. And then this one, analysis and interpretation of ratios that every student would always love. I know every student love this one. And for me, I also feel this is the regulatory question in ICAN FR and SBR. This is the question that at least you'll be comfortable that you're going to write this exam, because ratio analysis, if as long as it's going to be there, every student should be able to get it. Like you should be aiming to get all the marks there. And it's possible, very possible. So this one is where you can get almost all the marks. So you don't joke with it. And examiners are now wondering, if this is so easy, why are people not knowing the formula? Why are they using the wrong formula, right? And this is I know it can be tricky. Some formulas can look tricky, right? Why don't they know how to interpret them? Why are they not able to, understand that, certain issues happen based on certain issues, like they cannot draw that connection. So they are wondering why that is, happening. And of course, cash flow, statement of cash flow. In fact, there was a particular year, statement of cash flow, I think it came out twice. I don't know how many persons have come across that. It came out twice. And this was quite interesting, right? One question in one diet, statement of cash flow coming out twice in the same diet was quite interesting. So please know both methods, both direct methods and the indirect method. It's not about which one do you like, it's about what you need to know to pass this exam. All right. And of course, ethics and theory, they are complaining that candidates are not able to identify those problems, ethical issues, and they lack, how to apply them in terms of in financial reporting. Like I said, when you're talking about ethics in FR, is not the same as ethics in audit. Ethics in FR is looking at it from a financial reporting point of view. So always remember your standard, right? So if whatever issue is being talked about, try and ask yourself what standard is being referred to here. They may not mention the standard, they might just tell you they bought an inventory and then they recognize it like this. You should know this is IAS 2, right? And the law says, oh, this should be recognized lower of cost or net realizable value. What am I seeing here? These people are going to recognize it as cost when cost was even higher than net realizable value. So you can see that is an ethical issue because they haven't followed. And because the reason is, it could be the reason why they use that method that was outside the standard. It could be because they want to perpetuate fraud, right? Ethical issues. Can you see why it's relating to ethics? It could be because they want to involve in creative accounting or earnings management or something, and that's why they had to do it that way. So when you think of ethical issues in financial reporting, please always remember your standard. Ask yourself what standard have been referred to here, and once you can pick that standard, mention the standard, mention the number, mention some of the things the standard had said concerning issues like this. Once you're doing that, you're good. So always remember that. So let's do a quick question analysis before we go to SBR. All right, so SBR, so calm down. We're going to get to you in a bit. All right, so the past question analysis, what can we pick from this? And I feel this one that's why it's like you have to read everything. Look at the numbers, look at the percentage, so closely knitted. All right, the one that stand out here is, of course, 7%, which is presentation of financial statement. We know why. It's always almost compulsory every time it comes in ISC. Negotiable. That's 7%, I beg your pardon. And then we have income taxes, yes, and that's standard. Students kind of they kind of complain that it's quite not, it's not like easy to. No, it is easy. It is easier. Anyways, it's easy. All right, so income taxes, yes. So you see 6%, that's a lot. Let's look at the rest because there are like 27 topics here, so it's longer than one page. So the other outlier we see here is analysis of financial statement. Yes, which is sweet because this one is your ratios. This one is the one that you want to aim to get everything here. And then, of course, you see consolidation, right? Coming with 6%. Notice that we have questions around complications, also questions of consolidation, question around statement of comprehensive income. If you put all of them together, that's a lot. Consolidation, associates, and joint ventures, yes, at a level is being tested. If you look at all of them, that's quite an handful, right? So we've seen those major ones, ethics and current development, 5%. And I'm telling you, that is going to be increasing as we move forward, right? The questions in this area will now be getting more constant as we move forward, right? Because we have to conform with global expectations, right? And these are the concerns globally. All right. So if you look at the percentage, you can see a lot of 4.32%. So what does that mean? It means that you can't even pick top 10. Because if you pick all the tops, right? What about this one with 2% here, 4% here, 3%, and they are so scattered? It means literally they want you to know everything. Yes, they want you to know everything, right? And because you're starting early, please, that's your focus. Your focus is everything. Don't even begin to pick anything. No, you started early. People that pick are start late, but that won't be you. You're starting early already, so make sure you learn everything. All right. So what examination position should you be? How should you position yourself for the examination? Understand that presentation of financial statement are most frequently tested topics. Presentation and analysis, right? That's preparation and presentation of financial statement and ratios, right? That's what we're saying. They are mostly, frequently tested. They appear almost in every diet. They appear in every diet. So please position yourself for this. So imagine if you are so good with this too, you can tell that you've gotten a lot of marks, right? So then we have PPE, yes, and we have IS 12. They are dominant specific standards, and they are often they are mostly featuring in question 1 adjustment or standalone question, right? So imagine if question 1 is compulsory and you're talking about preparation of financial statement, and then they are coming with another important standard, IS 16 and IS 12. It means that if you are good with preparation and you cannot make adjustment, it means that there might be a little bit of challenge, right? So you want to get this one right also. And then sustainability reporting, that's where we are now. You're going to be seeing that it's newly introduced area where it's appearing in the most recent diet. It appeared, from the last two exams, in the last three diets, I guess, it has been occurring. So it's come to stay. So don't even wish it away. It's come to stay. And then we have earnings per share, statement of cash flows. They are regular now. And they also carry significant, marks. Whenever they throw up, just expect something substantial to come out from. So we're done with FR. So let's quickly look at SBR. So please don't leave FR student. We're still getting back to you on something else. But for now, SBR. So what are we looking at for? What is being tested? Practical application of technical standards, right? You must own your complex group structure, group accounting. Now, let me tell you something about group accounting because it's going to come out. Or it has always come out as question one. So we expect it to always come out, right? So this is it. It's complex, but it is not complex. It is breakable into parts. Always know that. See, in as much as you're going to have a lot of information here and there, it is breakable into parts. So don't give up on something because something else has not been decoded. It's breakable. You don't get it. It's not just the one thing. If you see the marketing scheme, you notice that there are so many accounts under the complex group structure that you're going to prepare. So please, it is breakable. Don't always look at it from a holistic point of view. If you can do goodwill, yes, move ahead. Don't say because you cannot determine something, you're not sure which of the method, and then you won't even attempt at all. Go ahead, use any method you think. Since you in the examination or you cannot quite, tell whether it's a full good method or partial method, but information there will always guide you because someone you just know that if this is not available, then maybe this is what they want. All right. So note that scenario-based application at SBR, yes, they want you to be able to apply technical principles, and this now they are so serious. So corporate reporting did not just change to SBR for nothing. It changed because we're not talking about strategic business. It's not just corporate. We're not just reporting corporate. You are saying what is the strategic business reporting? So, and this strategic business reporting comes with scenario-based application. That's what it means to be strategic. You must be able to apply these technical principles to specific real-life practical situations. And of course, your numeracy, accuracy, yes, precision in terms of your computations of NCI, goodwill, and all of the other adjustments that might present here. So please take your time. Consolidation is compulsory. Take the time to know it, so that you're good. Financial analysis, this is sweet. I feel like this is just the blessing, right, for FR and FM, FR and SBR, because this particular question, whenever it comes out, which it will, you are sure that you can get something very good, right? So don't let question number one toss you away and mess up your time. Once I have told you, just move on. This one will help, right? So this one is a very good one. Then we have business communication and reporting. Yes, your ability to write a report is still very important at your level because you're writing reports is serious because by now you're not CFO, right? So you should be able to write, those strategic reports, ethical and professional judgment, ability to identify threats. Yes. Like I said, when it comes to financial reporting or strategic business reporting, please always think about your standard, right? It's not enough to just talk about the ethical codes of conduct or the threats. How is this playing out in this situation of financial reporting? What rules have been broken in terms of financial reporting? So you need to be very, very knowledgeable about the standards. All right. So creative accounting recognition. Remember, you're not a CFO at your level. SBR is CFO, right? So you should be able to identify creative accounting issues. Now, when companies are cooking books, when they're withdrawing or when they're, moving profits or smoothing profits, from one part to another, you should be able to see that, right? And how do you see it? by understanding what the standard says, right? What does the standard say concerning how certain items should recognize? How has the organization recognized it? What does that indicate? Even when the standard gives us like options, right? So when it says, for instance, you can either use the fair value or you use the cost model, right, to value an asset. But the question is, which one, in the case study before you, how has the organization used this method? Was it for a malicious purpose, right? Even though there are options, they've decided to take one option. But why did they choose that option? Is there anything in the question that indicates that they want to maliciously present their financial statement in a way that will satisfy the shareholders? Right. So you want to look through that, so that's where you're attacking. You're attacking it from the financial reporting, point of view. And then mastery of narrative and emerging reporting, right? You need to know your integrated reporting. You need to understand what it means. And this is just beyond your pack, right? You need to read beyond your pack because things are moving, additions are coming in every time. Sustainability reporting, very important. Ability to advice on the elements of management commentary and how they provide context for financial performance. What are those management commentary? Those things the management will write, inclusive or added or included in the financial reports. How are you able to digest that information, right? So these are the things. So we have actually moved from corporate reports. We're not at SBR, right? So these are kind of things. So you can just take a look at maybe some past ACCA past questions. You can see, that will give you an idea of where I can, is saying, right? So then we have critical thinking and conceptual awareness. Yes, they want you to be able to be able to think critically, and be able to discuss issues. It critically does not mean to critically means to talk about to think critically means you are not just seeing the face value, right? You can see the connection, you can draw inferences, you can see the dots, they are connecting to you, right? Even though the dots is not clearly put together, but you can see the dots. That's critical thinking. Conceptual awareness. Of course, how can you talk about financial reporting if you're not aware of what the standard is talking about? So where are you writing your own from? Like, what is guiding your own interpretation, right? And of course, a very good understanding of regulatory rationale in terms of what are the provisions of Financial Reporting Council, SEC. You need to understand, what those things are. Okay, so let's talk about the examiners, reports. What are the pitfalls they've noticed? They've talked about group accounting. They've said, candidates are not able to determine goodwill based on the fair value of assets acquired rather than a proportionate share of equity. So you get to see these things, in the class. Once you get to that topic, you'll see what this is about. So it's not difficult. It's just explaining, how goodwill can be determined, right? So then we're talking about adjustments, right? Because for every consolidation, trust SBR now, you're going to see, you will need to make adjustment. That's definitely going to happen. So please prepare. So that means your standard has to be good, because if you're going to be making adjustment on what? On the standard. So you have to have a very good understanding of the standards. You should be able to distinguish between subsidiary, associate, and joint venture relationship, because the way they are recognized are not the same. So you should be able to tell when there are differences, even when the question doesn't tell you it is a subsidiary, it is an associate, it's a you should know, right? So we're going to in the course of the class, it's there how to know whether it's a subsidiary or an associate, because if you don't determine it correctly, you could go use the wrong, method. So you should be able to determine that. Now, misunderstanding the difference between and the fact that they don't understand between contingent and deferred consideration. And this is important. If you're determining goodwill, one of the key things in goodwill is purchase consideration. And sometimes the purchase consideration might not be immediate cash. Sometimes these things are deferred, and sometimes it is contingent, right? So you should be able to tell, contingent this payment will be based on certain factors being fulfilled. Deferred means it's going to be paid at a later time. You should be able to tell, these differences. And of course, ratio analysis, they're not also excited that people are also mixing up how to correctly interpret ratios that they've completed themselves, right? So that they focus too much on the calculation. SBR, you cannot do this. FR, maybe. SBR, no. You would have to analyze or interpret your ratio as a professional, right? As a CFO, you have to do that. Computation of irrelevant ratios, yes. Just because they said um um compute the liquid compute profitability ratios does not mean you should compute all the profitability ratios. I hope you may understand what I'm saying. So if the question is not clear on which ones, it's just saying identify or assess the liquidity position of this organization. They're not really expecting to compute every liquidity ratio because that will waste your time. But you want to compute the major ones, right? So basically, that's how you want to move, right? Use of incorrect formulas or picking the wrong figures. Wow, that should not even happen. But if it does, it could be because someone is panicking and all of that. So you have to be calm. That's why it's good to start early so that when you're done reading on time, you won't be panicking, days to the exam. Inability to classify ratios appropriately into categories. Yes, knowing what is profitability ratios, examples of them, they are not the same as efficiency ratio, neither are they the same as liquidity. You should be the difference. Okay. So they also mentioned the following standards, how candidates are not able to understand them and their provisions, when you're treating, for instance, a prior period error. Remember, that's something under IS 8. How do you treat that? IS 19, defined benefit plan, IS 36, impairment, of assets, IFRS 2, share-based payments, failure to understand the recognition rules. So they're saying these standards are kind of not, and people don't really understand them, right? So please, we're going to be paying attention to all of these, standards and how they apply. All right. So report writing, yes. Talking about neglecting to present answers in required report or memo formats. Please always, if the question wants it in a report, let it follow a report. A report will always come with a date, with a title, so it has to follow. You don't say because you are writing, this is not typed. No, you have to still show it writing and ability to understand the content and elements of management, commentary and be able to relate to that. So ethics and professionalism, of course, in the context of financial reporting or such strategic business reporting, not just about ethics, but what does the standard say? How are they evaluating that? Are there indications of creative accounting? So these are things you're looking out for. Then beyond financial reporting, like I said, it's come to stay. Sustainability reporting is also part of financial reporting. It's come to stay. We now have S1, IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. So those two standards is part of the standards you should know. All right. So what is your examination positioning, right? So how should you position yourself for this exam? So know well that your group account and your financial ratio analysis are like bread and butter. They come together, right? So most likely you find them. Question 1, consolidation, group accounting. Question 2, financial statement analysis. You will find them. So know that. So don't even ignore them. As in what I mean, don't ignore, know them to the T. Know them to the end, know them deeply, know them well, right? Number 2, we have emerging trends. And let me go back on that. Now, why is it important? Because these two will always come number 1 and number 2. And you don't want to start on a bad note, right? So you don't want that thing number 1 question throws you off balance. And let me also mention, ICAN does this thing. For SBR, when they give you group accounting and they put it required, they sometimes put required of something that is not familiar. You are probably expecting, statement of profit or loss account, statement of financial position. You won't probably see such words. You just see statement to determine the capital reserve. Just is something like awkward and you're wondering, what exactly am I supposed to do here? See, a financial statement, an IFRS financial statement includes 1, statement of profit and loss account, profit period of financial position, statement of change in equity, statement of cash flow. Look at the question. What does it, even if you can't interpret that, but if you can interpret it, please by all means go ahead with what you can interpret. But I'm saying this in case you cannot, they want to show your balance. From what you've seen in this question, what does it look like is more likely to be prepared here? So just go ahead. it cannot pass these financial statements, right? It cannot pass them. So don't let the wordings, deceive you. Now, emerging trends, right? Beyond financial reporting now, question the section C where you get your cheap 15 marks, comes with this. So you need to understand your integrated reporting, your sustainability reporting, and all that. 16, IS 1637 tested to know them well. Professional ethics, know them well. Topic 1, know them well. They're integrated, right? So that's why you need to know them well. Okay, so let's look at the analysis now. From this analysis, what stands out is non-current assets, right? IS 1640, 38, and 37. It stand out on this page at 8%. Then, of course, beyond financial reporting, as we said, is yet to stay. It's occurring so frequently now. It stand at 8%. I remember one of my students mentioned something. She said, after the exams, she came and she said, Ma, everything now is sustainability, sustainability. I'm like, know your question, it's just that you need to know it. It is that's if as though that's all I can wants to know now sustainability. So I said that's where we are now. That's the era we're in. So they will move with trend. They can't be testing, 1918 for what we're in 2026. So we're moving with the trend, right? So in this one, of course, the number one, the one that stands so well out is group accounting. So 10%, wow, that's a high one. And followed by ratios with 9%. So you can see why I said they are bread and butter, they go together. So know that then after them are now your asset standard. So I can, so asset standard and of course your sustainability report and your integrated reporting. You see them, and then you have your ethical issues coming in with 6%. Wow, that is great. Ethical issues coming with 6%. But guess what? The rest are now thinly spread, 3%, 4%, thinly spread. Okay, so that's why it's looking like I should know everything, right? I should know everything. Let's talk about examination insights. So what insights are you drawing for the examination? Understand how I know I talked about it yesterday, how the questions are, and please, you want to pay attention to your timing because timing is where, things might, go so well. Let me not say something wrong. Your timing is very important, right? So that I put up something here to help you understand that question 1, which is compulsory, goes with 30 marks. Section B comes with 20 marks. Question C comes with 15 marks each, right? So when you're writing, make sure you don't overspend time in question 1. Make sure you give room for you to be able to have enough time to answer question 2, 3, 4. Question 1 is not enough to pass. It cannot give you an A on by itself. All right. So you need others. And we said it, yesterday. Question 1 is always built to the stabilized student. So know that it's part of the plan. It's intentionally done. So please be aware of that, Okay, so then of course, SEPTA Bridge, what we do, we provide ICAN classes as we've been doing. And we have like an LMS which helps you to kind of follow up with what you're doing. For some of us that are already like enrolled, I'm sure you've seen your progress, you can tell where you are, it just gives you that, so we adopt that so that nobody is left behind. So even when you don't um because of just a minute, my laptop is about to die. To charge it. Sorry. Okay, so the LMS helps you to keep track of what you're doing. And of course, there's a lot of active following up from our side just to make sure that everybody's on point. So the goal is to get everybody to be able to achieve the goal. And the goal is to pass. That's all. after passing, then we can talk about other things, but you have to pass this examination. You have to. So that's the mindset we have. And that's why nobody's going to be left behind. I'm going to be in your DM. So please, I'm already taking permission now. I'm going to be in your DM. So please, you see so don't be sometimes I might even call you. Yes, sometimes, but if I'm not seeing you, you're not answering my DM, it's showing you're not reading it, or you are reading it, you're ignoring it, or you're not giving me a reply. I can just call you, all right? So even if you can't pick the call, just put a note, I'm busy now, or something, because I think that is more important to me, to get everybody on board is very important, right? So of course we're looking for outliers, and people that will come with awards and all of those beautiful things, ICAN prize winners. So while we're having the prize winners, we also want everybody to pass, right? So that's the goal. All right. So we also teach with the connectedness mindset, knowing that these things connect together. Now, well, you might look at IFRS as a standalone, but in a question, they can bring in a mixture of more than one IFRS, right? And a lot of you would have seen it for SBR. They do that a lot. Aside from number one question, even in the other questions, you see that they're testing like 5 standards or 3 standards in one question. So if you don't understand one, even though you understand the other one, it's not enough. So that's something you need to understand. So even though the standards are standalone, but they can all be tested, or multiple standards can be tested in one question. Of course, we have lecture slides. And let me also mention, for those already taking classes, the slides are part of the LMS. Please make sure you download those slides. They're downloadable. So go there, download them so that you can have them. So while you're watching, ensure you have your slides with you, because sometimes you might just want to be looking at your slides while you're doing your workings, right? So please download them. And let me also mention that for those studying, if you have a laptop, I would advise you use a laptop to study, especially for computational courses, so you can see those numbers clearly. A phone might be too small to see some things, so you can see the numbers clearly and you won't have any form of barrier. And so that's something we do. And like we introduced yesterday, we have a Warrior Hub that's going to help us to be able to move forward and get us on track. And of course, we teach with interactive smart screen, just so that you feel as though you're in class. So let me use the word it's like a tab where you get to see what we're doing, what I'm writing and all of that. So very important. So even though you're not in a physical class, you get to experience, the kind of, experience. So we're not just reading or typing in Excels, those things are not too interesting for some students. So we kind of write so that you get to see it. Expertly handled sessions, of course, and the timing of the classes for your SBR and FR classes every Fridays by 8 p.m. So make sure you're there. And if you miss any class for any reason, by permission, of course, you obtain permission. If you miss any class, you would of course get the video recordings, because we'll put it on the same LMS. So we'll just put it on that same LMS. So you will see the titles. So it's going to be there. So you know that is also part of what you should complete. So in case you finish your self-paced course by 100%, and you don't finish your live courses, that means you have not finished. So you have to ensure you finish. Okay, so for every question, for every topic, there are questions. We solve questions for every topic. And of course, in our live classes, we're going to solve more questions. So, and those questions are also part of the entire package. Right. So yeah. So and God has been faithful. We have 6 courses. We're adding more as we prepare and as we were done. Right. So for now, this is what we can handle this, diet. As more comes in, we'll then let you know. But for now, this is what we can do. I know people have reached out to me, but I'm so sorry. For now, this is what we can, right? Because a lot goes into preparing the slides and preparing the notes and videos and everything. We just don't want to rush things, right? And of course, we've had very interesting, good reports in the past. So I'm going to give room for questions and answer from anyone. Okay. So first, I think I need emojis, for the work I just did now. I need to get emoji. Let me know if this, okay, don't just clap just because I said so, right? If I deserve to be clapped for clap, if I don't, let me know. All right, thank you. Thank you, Lani. Yes, thanks, and Joy. Thanks, Friday. Thanks, David. Davies, thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you. Yes, I want to take questions now. Yes, thank you. And thank you, Louise. Thank you so much, Louise. Yes, thank you. I want to take questions. And Ibra, sorry, Uma, thanks. I'm just seeing you. And Victor too. Thanks. All right. I want to take questions, and I want those questions, you feel like a form. And I want us to explore that too. If you are not, if you don't think you don't want, if you're not shy, so I want to take questions on what I just presented and any other question you want to ask. So if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. Questions. Oh, nobody is okay. Go ahead, Ololade. Yes, go ahead, please. We can't hear you. Oh my God. Can anyone hear him? Can anyone hear him?
Can you hear me now, ma?
Yeah, very clear now.
All right, all right. Okay, I say thank you very much for the presentation. It was quite insightful. So my question would
Thank
be,
you.
I maybe I missed it. Just like you did for AAF, are we going to have something similar for SBR, like the weekly plan or something like that? I know
Definitely.
you didn't mention anything in that light, so I don't know if I was the one that
Okay.
missed it.
No, you didn't miss it. I didn't mention it. Okay, so
Okay.
let me mention it. Yes. Okay. Yes, we're going to have that. Okay, so what he's talking about is for SBL class, we have all the topics, just like we just saw some of them in the analysis. We're going to be taking them week by week, right? So that in our strategic class, live class, I don't want our live class to be just anyhow. I want it to be fulfilling and solving questions and just leading to success, basically. So we're going to come to our live class and do like a recap of the topics for the week and then solve more questions and more now, not just solving questions, just now preparing for the examinations, right? So FR and SBR are not like AF. So this one might take about 2 months, right? So I'm going to send you, just like I did this morning, I'm going to send you guys the timetable for SBR and FR because the race has actually started. But it doesn't stop your reading. You can start your self-paced course from the beginning, right? I'm going to send it to you. So we're going to space it out in a way that in 2 months we can finish because I know this course there are more topics here, so we can't crash them. We can, funny enough, in 1 month, but because I know some of you are also taking other courses, right? So in 2 months we'll do that. So we keep coming to class every week, right? So the plan here is we keep coming to class until we finish everything that we think is enough to prepare you for the examinations. And then we come back. So if we finish, for instance, in 2 months, depending if we do, then we're coming back for revision. All right. So when we get to October, I don't really like November for teaching. I prefer students being on their own in November to assimilate everything they've been learning. So I'm proposing in October, by the grace of God, we're coming back for intensive revision class. But please don't wait till that time. I didn't mention that before. I intentionally did not, because I don't want people to now say, okay, since we're coming back for revision, now wait till that time. Nope, don't wait till that time, right? Okay, so conclude your work in 2 months. That's all. That's what we want to achieve. We want to do the stress now so that towards the exam we're not on that tension because that itself can make people so we're not on that tension. Any other question?
Good evening, ma. I have a question, ma.
Go ahead,
Thank you
please.
so much for the webinar, ma. Yes. My
You're
question is
welcome.
that, yes, ma. My question is that, are we going to have AAF and AAAF together? Because the timetable is the same time. Or FR with SBR. Is the class going to be the same?
Yes. Now let me explain how it works. if you look at your self-paced course, are they the same? No, depending on your topics. Now, the live classes, like we said, the strategic sessions, right? So where we're having, and so the way the timetable would work is to work in such a way that if you're in SBR, for instance, you need everything FR. Just have that mindset, right? Some of you didn't go through FR, you got exemptions and you got yourself into SBR or you got yourself into professionals. Now the pack or ICAN is already assuming that you know everything skills, right? So for every course reoccurring, for instance, expect that you know everything FR. SFM reoccurring, they expect that you know everything FM, right? Taxation, right? They expect that you know everything taxation, right? So that's the expectations. For those in the professional level, you need to be in both classes. You need to be in the little class, you need to be in the more complex classes, right? Let me use that word. So, but for those at skills level, literally, once we're done with, because we're starting with the skills question will come first. Remember the live class, we're treating past questions, right? The skills question comes first. And once we're done with the skills session, so if a skills student can just walk away and you are done for your own, you can happen in 1 hour and you're done. But somebody in SBR cannot walk away because they need thing and they also need it, they need their own SBR. So you can just drop off the call and say, well, I'm done for today. I've taken my course and I'm going. So you can drop off. Well, you can also remain there. That I want to know it to the extreme level, just so that I can be so prepared because if I give the examiner, something more, more mature, there's a possibility that, a high possibility that I'm going to be marked, higher. Right, that's sure. Because if they say talk about IS 16, for instance, right, and you're able to say it well because you've understood all the different dimensions, you've treated SBR kind of question. And let me also mention something. Now, for the fact that there are two different layers, when you see in your pack IS 16 for financial reporting, they are expected to know everything IS 16. Like they expect you to cover the entire syllabus of IS 16, regardless of whether you're at professionals or at skills. Everything IS 16 should be known and covered. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes,
Yes, we
so
can.
sorry. Yes, I'm back. So sorry, my laptop went off. All right, so yes, I was answering a question. Yes. So, if for FR, it's not like when they say IS16, you shouldn't learn everything IS16. No, you're going to learn everything IS16. The only difference is for FR, the intensity of the question might not be as rigorous as for those in SBR in terms of application, right? So for FR, the application for IS16 might not be as intense as that for in SBR. So, but you still need to know the standard, right? So, and for those in SBR, you notice that some of those standards that's already in FR, they don't kind of expatiate them in SBR. So if you check your pack, you won't see the full dose of some of the standards in SBR because their assumption is you should have learned that at FR. All right, so can I get more questions? So that's the assumption. So you still, for SBR, you need everything FR. It's only FR that don't need everything SBR. More questions? Hello? More questions, please. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you,
we can
ma'am.
hear you.
Oh, okay. So are there more questions? Are there more questions, please? All right. So yes. More questions so we can okay, yeah, so let me invite Dr. Azubike Ezewoke to just give us a little bit of insights since I didn't talk about the ICAN Warrior app. So you just give us a bit of insights about the app. I saw that a lot of us already joined the wait list so that we get insight and on some of the things that we should be expecting for enrolled members on the app. All right, so Dr. Azuike, thank you so much for coming. So you can kind of give us like an insight into the app.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I don't know if I'm audible.
Very audible,
If you
sir.
can. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm unable to share my screen because I'm actually on the road. But I'm going to speak briefly about the ICAN Warrior app. Yeah. So just like your coach, has, I'm sure she'd have published. Am I still audible? Can you hear me?
Yes. So it's breaking.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. So the main idea here is, one thing as in my own experience, helping students academically, helping students pass exams. One thing I've realized is that passing exams has never been an issue of intelligence or lack of intelligence. Passing exams are, like to yes, where people are kind of like unable to, bring themselves together to do what is required in order to achieve, the excellence that they actually, desire. So the idea of the app basically is just to bring about 4 different things together. First, we are bringing, a place where you can actually get like a daily, dose of workload. Right. So the idea of the ICAN Warrior, I mean, we are seeing the ICAN exam as, going to battle, and every day there's always a mission that you have to accomplish. So every day when you log into the app, you sign up for the courses that you are going to be taking. one of the things that you would be getting is daily, topics, for each course. You get those daily topics listed out. These are the things you should study today. I mean, and the way it has been designed, it has been covered, it has been designed such that if you schedule, the schedule is going to, lead you towards mastery as you approach the exam. So if, for example, you have about 74 days to go, 84 days to go, 90 days to go towards the exams, you get those topics listed out to you and you're able to read them. Then for every topic, we've also created all the past questions that, accrue to that topic for about 12 years now, since 2014. All the questions, for that topic has been also been created. So you have a list of past questions for every topic. So after you probably study on the LMS, you can always go through the past question. Past questions will be captured inside the app. So you just go ahead and just do the solve, the solving and, try and, get mastery from that. Then also, so every day you get that. So in case you're not able to finish the workload for today, the workload between, that day or the next day and exam day is recalibrated and spread across. So that way you are keeping yourself, in check. Then you also have the accountability system. While you are setting up the app, you'll be expected to add somebody, right, that you believe can hold you accountable. Because really, many of us always look for someone to actually, be on our case. It can be a spouse, it can be a friend, it can be a boss, it can be a pastor, it can be anybody that you think, you don't want them to receive a report that you are not delivering on your task. Because once you default on your daily mission, they get an email notification that says, hey, this person, was supposed to do X, Y, and Z today, but they're only able to do this and all that, right? So we also have a leaderboard. Leaderboard is to give you an idea, because this is a journey that you're embarking on with a lot of people. So everybody who also sign up on the app, you're able to see everybody's progress, and you can also see where you measure up in that particular journey. All right. I don't know if Dr. Motola can put the homepage on the screen so they can actually see what you're talking about. So once you log into the app, you will actually get to see the readiness ring. Readiness ring is in twofold. The first fold of the readiness ring is overall all the courses you are taking together. If you have 4 courses or 3 courses, it computes your readiness for those 3 courses. So you can see how many % ready you are towards the exam. Then for the individual courses also, you get to see your readiness for those courses, right? All of the things you're supposed to be doing, how far you have gone in your preparation towards the courses. So you'll be seeing that, play out. So when you click on that, for example, when you click on this, start study session and the focus session, you will then see all the things you're supposed to do for that course that day, and you can get on to see how to clear them. All right. Then also we also have the coaching element, right? So you get to, inspirational, motivational, messages from the coach herself every day, and that is also available right there. So you see it in the middle of the app, one of the most prominent icon right there. So you get to listen to whatever is the word is for today. Some individuals just need someone speaking into their ears every day, in order to help them, through whatever challenges they might be facing. I know how important that is. Sometimes you want someone who is always encouraging you, telling you, don't worry, just keep going, you can get this done. Just that voice alone, can actually give you the additional boost, that you want or that you need in order to get you through the various workloads, right? So, so this particular app is both mobile and also there's an Android version, so you can always install it on your device, and you get notifications. So 2 notifications you'll be getting every day. The first notification is the things you're supposed to be doing today, all right? And in the evening, you get another notification telling you to actually, check out or strike out the things you ought to have done, that kind of thing. So if you do that, so the workload gets recalibrated every day, every I think 12 a.m. or so, and you're able to know exactly what you're supposed to be doing tomorrow. So you can see your entire journey and your readiness journey as you move from now, from whenever the app goes live, to when the examination itself, will start. All right. So this app is just like a companion. So it's having your past question, it's having your daily work schedule you need to get through. It's helping you see others who are in the journey with you, and you can see where you are. You are 8% behind, 10% behind, 20% behind. You can see all of that. You have a streak system. The more you keep, getting your tasks done, the more, streak you actually accumulate for yourself, and you get to hear from the coach daily, apart from every other channel where she'll be communicating with you. Get to hear, all about that, also in the app. So the app is actually, like, if I'm judging from the questions some persons asked yesterday, okay, the app basically is going to be all the ICAN subjects, okay? We'll be leading first with the subjects available on the SEPTA Bridge LMS. Hopefully in about a week or two, every other course will be there. Whether they are being taken on the LMS or not, you have opportunity of getting access to all of that. Some persons asked yesterday about pricing. I think your coach was very generous to say that everybody who signed up for the LMS and for the SEPTA Bridge courses would actually to this particular, free. All right, so you can actually use it in your preparation, right? And as we get our approach towards exam day, I'm sure many of us we deliberately kept the mastery level to those who have completed more than 80% of all the past questions. So the mastery will not be unlocked until you have completed 80% of all the past questions. That's when you actually have mastery. So in case you're using the app and it's not taking you to a certain level, because I believe nobody can be 100% ready for anything, right? So you can be 98, you can be 99.999. I don't think anybody can be 100% ready for anything because really we're not that perfect. But the goal is to see how to encourage people, motivate them, keep them accountable as a journey towards ICAN. So we try to use a lot of war metaphor because we believe this is war. So it's an ICAN warrior app. You have daily missions, you're going to battle. You have the war room. The war room is where the coach is giving you fire drills and fire instructions and ensuring everybody's standing strong on what they're supposed to do, and you keep doing that as you get towards the exam. Yeah, so that's basically the app. So the link is available. I'm sure it has been dropped on your platforms. It's icanwarrior.versa.app. You can once you land there, you'll read all about the app. So you'll see the join waitlist button. Once you click on it, just go ahead and just fill in the form for the waitlist, and shortly you'll be getting enrolled into the app, and you can start experiencing the features. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Zwike, for that, presentation. In fact, a lot of you, maybe because when you experience, when you guys get to experience, you understand how important this can be. Now, if you understand what's going on in the world, a lot of distractions everywhere. You can't compare that to 10 years ago. Thank you so much, Femi. Thank you very much. You can't compare. Thank you, Nkechi. Thank you so much. So Dr. Azwika has been doing research on academic excellence, how students can, be their best version academically. He's been doing this research over here. So for those that understand what's going on, you understand that people are highly distracted. People are not able to give their best again as they should have because there's a lot of distraction everywhere. Internet is there and all of that. And so this app is one app that can help you stay on track, right? Because it's a way where you measure progress. I don't know if anyone has ever used an investment app before, right? If you've ever invested and you've used an investment app, you know how important this investment app has helped you save more money than you've ever done before. And you will want it's just an app. If I want to save money, I can save money. If I want to save money, I can save money, right? So, but how come I'm saving more money now than ever? The reason is because they've designed something that can enable you. So those that understand tech, you understand that these things are enablers, these things are helpers, they help you. All right. So some of us have saved a lot of money now than we've ever saved in our life just because there is something that notifies us, right? There's some that even give you streaks whenever you miss your monthly, commitment, you lose the streaks. And sometimes you'll be shocked that people don't want to lose those streaks because they want to be able to get those charts really looking good, right? So if you understand that, and of course we're having a lot of Gen Zs amongst us, you know how these people are on the fly, right? So this app is that kind of thing that will help us to just stay committed. Imagine you're just scrolling and then you get to see that, oh my God, I've not met my daily target. I have a question here. Can I really answer this competition, and I realize I can't, there's a way to just lead you, and you're seeing leaderboard, you're seeing other persons, you're writing these exams with, they are out there topping the chart. It's not a competition in a negative way. It's just so that you know that, okay, others are getting it done, then I can get it done. You're seeing that you rank maybe 50% or you're ranking at a level where others are ranking. You can't even tell, oh, am I the lowest? Am I top ranked? So that kind of, motivates you. So for those that use things like this, you know how important these things are. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Azwiki, for granting us, this opportunity at Septabridge to be able to use something like this, on our platform. So I want to get questions. Any questions from anyone? What would you like to see on the app? If you're not just for ICANN now, right? What would you like to see on the app? Is anybody that will have anything, as an ICANN student, expect that the app will do for you? What is quiet today? Oh, go ahead. Thank you, Olalade. Go ahead, Olalade.
Okay, yeah, I was just thinking, I like the part where the accountability part should be somebody external. What of
Yeah.
yeah, I can see the part of whereby we are seeing ourselves, the way we are performing, that is the student. But what
Yeah.
if there's a way we could connect with each other? Okay, let's see that, okay, maybe I perceive that this person is doing well in an area that maybe I'm struggling. Can I connect with my colleague to say that, okay, I think let's jump on a call to study this and this. I see you are performing well. I don't know, just like a study buddy part of it. Yeah, I think, I don't know if that is something that is thought into it. I just said, let me mention. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Zuke, the thing we're still here. We would definitely consider that. We're also mindful of privacy issues, getting people's contact. So we're going to use the Stepchat Bridge platform to kind of moderate, who is talking to who, right? Do you get what I'm saying? So that people don't get people's contacts and then, yeah, but it's a very good one. When you say somebody is your accountability partner within the system, there's a way, you can also, meet up with them. And if you see that, like you said, they're doing better than what you think you're doing, you can always catch up. Yes, that's the beauty of the connection. Yes, why not? If not. Thank you, Mullah. That's a very good one. Any other question? Um, any question? Anyone? Any addition? Okay. Any question? Okay. So let me just go around everybody because I don't know why nobody said anything. So Joy, I hope you're good. Dola, you hope you're good. Luis, Kechi, good. Faith, good. If you're good, just give me a high five. If you're not, that means you're not giving me a high five. Let me even know if you guys are around. In Yoloa. Because some people are like, they said it's compulsory. But let me just come. No, it's not that. You have to be involved. Thank you, Nkechi. Yes. Joy, yes. Are you good? Uma, are you good? Davis, are you good? Friday, are you good? Femi, are you good? Imabong, are you good? Ibrahim, are you good? All right. So, Louis, okay. Louis has a question.
I don't have a question. No.
Okay, you just raise your hand, okay, to say you are good. Okay. All right. So please, all hands. Oh, Victor, please go ahead, Femi. Victor, go ahead.
Good
Okay.
evening. Good evening.
Good
Can you
evening.
hear me?
Very clear. Very clear.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your presentation, and also Dr. Azubike as well. I'm quite new to this, but I'm very impressed that there is an integration of the subjects in the skills level, also in the professional level, because I'm in the professional level, and I think that refresher is very important as well. So looking forward to joining the classes. If I got that correctly, the video sessions or the classes are 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays and Thursdays, right?
Yes. So for Thursdays for AAF and audit basically on Thursdays. So if you're writing audit on Thursday, on Fridays SBR and FR. So if you're writing your classes on Friday, then on Saturday in the morning, 8 a.m. is for FM and SBR and SFM, right? So that's the timetable. And of course, all live sessions are recorded and will be put up on the LMS. So you still have access to them. But we don't encourage you to miss a class. For you to come miss any class, you have to write to me and you have to get a permission to miss the class. And your reason has to be genuine. And you have a maximum of two times. You can't miss more than 2 times. So that's why we're going intense, right? So that in 2 months you're done, right? So if you tell yourself, I'm going to give everything it takes, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's our goal, all right? So you can do it. So please.
All right, thank you very much. So when do the classes, or when will the classes start?
The classes, okay, this is our first class somehow. Then by next week we'll continue. We keep going like that. All right. So I think the information you're looking for, maybe because you don't have them, that's why, you know, the classes start next or real classes. Today is like introduction and all. From next week classes start, but you have access to the self-paced course. All right. So this is the way it works. So once you enroll, you then have access to the self-paced courses. The self-paced courses already has everything you'll be doing.
Okay.
Are you with me? So it's a recorded, non-interrupted class. It's like just the tutor teaching, non-interrupted class that has all the subjects, all the topics of what you're doing. So the goal is for you to do, for this course, for instance, the goal is for you to do like 4 topics every week. And there are 7 days in a week. So you pick any day of the week and just take your time and do it. And sometimes some courses are like an hour, some are like 1 hour, 30 minutes. So you just need to commit that. Then when you come for the live classes, we'll now do like a deep dive into those 4 you've gone through in the week, just to be sure everybody is good and ready to go to the next week. So more questions, more solving of questions, more interactions, question and answer, dimensions of the way examinations will be tested, preparing for the examination. So that's what the live classes will be doing. The live classes is basically to prepare you for the exam, not just to be reading. You would have done most of the reading prior to the live class. So the live class is now that you've read, can you answer these questions? So it's like you're treating past questions. So the goal is to treat as many past questions as possible. So the moment you're so familiar with ICAN past questions, you're good.
Okay. Thank you very much for the clarification.
You're welcome. All right. You can DM me if you need any other clarification. All right.
Sure, I will. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so can I get more questions? Louise, your hands are still raised. Is it to ask the question? Yeah. No, okay. So I think we can call it a day. If there are no other questions, all other communication will continue on our WhatsApp groups, our different class groups. The communication continues on those groups. So good night, everyone. Have a beautiful night rest.
Good night, man. Tomorrow is
Good
in
night.
the evening too, right, man?
Okay, thank you so much for reminding me. So I then looked at the time tomorrow. I want to propose we have it by 6 tomorrow. Or let's say 6:30. Can I get people to come? Because I'm thinking tomorrow is Saturday. Can we do 6:30 tomorrow?
So
6:30.
can be 8
Oh,
now. Let's do it 8 to 10.
okay, one person is saying 8 to 10. I just
I
realized
don't
that that
know.
time. Eh? Okay,
6:30
okay,
is okay,
No,
man.
it's not morning, no.
6. In the evening,
6:30 is
6:30.
okay.
6:30. Because of Sunday, yes. Yes, that's what I'm picking, yeah. Because of Sunday. But
I,
our classes will be in the morning on Saturdays, 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm just saying for tomorrow, because tomorrow is more like um introduction. I don't want us to have it 8 a.m. tomorrow. It will be too close to today because I don't know. I just want us to have it in the evening. So that's what I'm proposing because I put in the flyer 8 p.m. So I'm thinking, I should have done 6:30. But once we start our live classes, it will be 8 a.m. in the morning when you're, when you wake up. If I have my way, I want to put it like 7 a.m. so that you can maximize that 8 hours of the day. Yeah. So if there are any other thing, just let me know. So for now, we've agreed 6:30, right? Only one differing opinion. So Favor, you're the only one
I,
with 10. Okay,
I
everybody
think
say
it.
hi.
I think 8 p.m. is fine. I like the uniformity.
Okay, so we'll continue the conversation. We'll continue on the group. I think I have a very serious bias for 8 p.m. So I'm kind of using my veto power. I'm trying to move you people to agree to 6:30. It's all right. Good night, everyone. All right, good night. Good night. Have a blessed night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Ma. I sent you a message.
Okay, I'll read it. Thank you so much. Feel free to
All right.
DM me if there are specific personal issues we need to talk about that cannot be talked about in public. Please let's talk on DM. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, man.
Good night, dear. Bye.
Good night, man.